Welcome to the Read Report. Thank you guys for hearing me out on this day. Be sure to smash that like button on your way in. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Today, I want to talk about Andy Dalton and the Chicago Bears. Back in, I think it was March, Dalton signed a one-year deal with the Chicago Bears. And, what it sounds like from his press conference yesterday, regardless of what would have happened, he was going to be the starting quarterback for this team. We know that the Bears ended up trading up to select also Justin Fields from the Ohio State in the first round of the 2021 draft. I think it was the 8th overall pick. So yesterday, just to give you a little background, of course, you guys remember Andy Dalton. He spent 9 years with the Cincinnati Bengals. His first 4 seasons, he ended up, I think 5 seasons. Yeah, his first 5 seasons, he ended up getting the Bengals to the playoffs and never won a playoff game there. Had some seasons. He had the 1 year in 2013. Which was his best year statistically, where he, where it was an MVP caliber type season for him. He threw for 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns, and I think that was the year they got to the playoffs. And who did they lose to at the time? San Diego Chargers in their in the playoffs. But like I said, after 2015, he's really. He really didn't do anything of note. He started in all games in 2016. The team went 6-9-1, and he threw for 18 touchdowns and just 8 interceptions. And he did run for 4 touchdowns. But he was talking in the press conference about how, regardless, he's a starting quarterback. I'm not sure what was said to him behind closed doors by coaching and management, but he's so confident that he's going to beat out Justin Fields in this competition. Now, like he said, he's been trying to help Justin. I'll give him his word. He said he's been trying to help Fields as much as he can. But he's not worried about anything that's going to be going on with Fields because, Andy's been around. He's been around since 2011, and he knows how these things work. Back in his division, the whole situation with Johnny Manziel, and he competing for a starting job. So Andy was close to that situation. It wasn't the same team, but it was close enough for him to be able to realize what was happening. He's seen these things, so he knows the attention that Fields is going to get. He knows that he can't afford to have a bad game, because as soon as he does that, we know how those Bears fans are going to be. And we know that the Bears historically has never had a great quarterback. I think they've only had one Pro Bowl quarterback in their history, and they have a long history. But he understands what he's up against playing in this Chicago market. He understands the market he's in. He understands this fan base. He knows what he's up against, and he knows that there's pressure on him to play great. But it came off yesterday, his press conference. The guy has every right to be confident. He has every right to be confident. He's so sure, like he's coming off though as a guy who has just been tearing it up and he has nothing to worry about, when really that's not the case. Now, if you go back to Dallas, he went 4-5 as a starter last year when Dak went out. I think he missed a couple games too, probably concussion. I'm not really sure. I think he had a concussion one game. It was something, but he went 4-5. He threw for, how many touchdowns did he throw for? He threw for 14 touchdowns and just 8 interceptions, 2,169 yards. And to his credit, like my boy Imani texted me, he didn't have a great offensive, like a healthy offensive line, and the defense wasn't that great. The offensive line for Dallas really fell off after being the elite of the elite over the past, 6, 7, or how many every years for the Cowboys. But I'll give Dalton that, but even if you go back to Cincinnati, he wasn't lighting things up. There's a reason the organization moved on from him and drafted Joe Burrow. There's a reason they let him go. Like, he just wasn't that guy anymore. You think about those first five seasons where they were always in the playoffs and but they could never get over. They could never get over, and they are famous for, he is, part of that time when the Chiefs blew out New England on that Monday Night Football game, tore them apart, and that's when everyone wrote the Patriots off, wrote off Brady, said he should retire, Bill is done, and this and that. And we know the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl, but we know what Bill said after that game, the famous quote.
We're on to Cincinnati.
And they went to Cincinnati, and I'm going to pull up the score to that game, actually, and that was in 2014. They went to Cincinnati, and they ended up beating the Bengals. What was the score? 43-17 on Sunday Night Football. So they've had he's been on teams where, on those Cincinnati teams where they had Super Bowl-like talent. 2013 and 2014 was their best chance, I think, to win a Super Bowl. I look at a guy like Andrew Luck and I say, if you would have given someone like Andrew Luck the protection that Dalton had and the defensive talent that he had, Andrew Luck would have at least 2 Super Bowl championships and probably 3 MVPs. But Dalton, but there's a reason, like I was saying, there's a reason they moved on from him. I'm not sure, like I said, he has every right to be confident, to feel like he's winning this job no matter what, but I'm not sure what he's saying in practice to make him say that, from Justin Fields. Maybe it's if Justin's not playing well, but they play the Chicago Bears. They play the LA Rams in their first regular season game. And this is if Dalton is the quarterback. This is if he's the quarterback. He's going to be playing the Rams in LA for the first regular season game, and we know what the Rams defense is about. We know what they're capable of. And if they get after the Bears like people are probably going to predict they will, he'll be on a really short leash, and it won't be long, before we see Justin Fields, because turn right back around week 2, they go home to Chicago to play Dalton's old team, Cincinnati. And what if Dalton doesn't play well, and the fans and they're putting the pressure on the coaching and they give in and Justin Fields plays? And we know Cincinnati, I don't know if people are expecting them to be good. I'm not sure what they'll look like. I'm still putting together some NFL stuff for the upcoming season, but Fields has the potential to, have that game where he really lights it up against a bad team. They may get destroyed in that week 1 game against the Rams, but they still do have a really good defense you have to respect. But they may give Dalton another chance against Cincinnati, and it could be, what if you don't go to Chicago and play well against your former team? Because if he's going back to Chicago in week 2, and if he doesn't play well against the Bengals, and they lose, and even if it's a field goal game and he's thrown like 3 picks and the final score is 13-10 and they win, the fans are still going to be booing. So he, like I said, he can have this confidence. He can feel this way, but he got to understand that he cannot, now that he said this, he cannot afford to have any bad games, especially these first 2 games. Because if he plays horrible against Cincinnati in a win or a loss, it's going to be bad for him. Those fans are going to eat him alive. I was rooting for Dalton last year. I thought that they would still have a great chance, Dallas, even if Dak didn't play, and Dak ended up getting hurt, but I'm talking about the contract situation that was going on. I really thought that Dalton was, going to shine had Dak not played, but he really didn't play that well. And like I said, and like Imani said, offensive line was banged up. They weren't very good, and the defense was bad. But he's on a short leash here in Chicago. He's on a real short leash, and it's going to be interesting to see how this works out, how this plays out, and even if he gets the job. What if Justin Fields sneak up on everyone like Russell Wilson did? Remember when they paid Matt Flynn all that money, and then they drafted Russell Wilson in Seattle, And Russell ended up being a starter week 1, and he hasn't looked back since. I don't think Russ has ever missed a game, to be honest. And what if that happens with Justin Fields? I'm rooting for Justin Fields. Like I said, I have nothing against Andy Dalton, but I think he missed his opportunity last year. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for taking the time to hear me out. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the Chicago Bears this upcoming season. Be sure to subscribe, share the video. It's really appreciated. And until next time, peace.